Welcome back, students. Today we are going to discuss some previous year questions related to environmental issue topic. This topic belong to Unit 4, Organism and Environment. So, question number 1, slash and burn agriculture is another name of. Slash and burn agriculture is another name of crop rotation, organic farming, step farming, or jhum cultivation. They have given us 4 different choices. We have to choose the right one. It's a very easy question. We have already discussed about it in our theory class. Okay, so very quickly give me the answer. Just take 5-second time. Choice number 1, choice number 2, choice number 3, or choice number 4. Slash and burn cultivation. Yes. Okay, so you are right. Jhum cultivation is the right term for the same. Jhum cultivation, in which what farmer used to do, they just cut the forest area plants, all the trees present in the forest area, cut them, burn them, and use their ash as a fertilizer and the land for their agriculture purpose, and after agriculture grazing purpose. Okay, once agriculture done, fertility has gone down, they just move to the next place and leave it for regeneration, for reforestation automatically, or without their effort. So it will take too much time to get convert it into another forest. Okay, so this type of method of cultivation is known as jhum cultivation, and this one is very popular in our northeast states of India. Okay, so jhum cultivation is the right answer of this question. Now, question number 2, who is the founder of Green Revolution in India? Who is the founder of Green Revolution in India? Dr. M.S. Swaminathan and Dr. Annie Borlaug, Dr. B.P. Pal and Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, Dr. N.E. Borlaug, or Dr. Iyer Nagar. So it's a very good question as well as very important question. So who is the father of Green Revolution in India? Of course, it's Dr. M.S. Swaminathan along with Dr. B.P. Pal. Okay, so right answer would be the choice number 2. And it's a very, very important question. Now, question number 3, an aquatic plant introduced from America to check pollution and has become troublesome weed in India. Aquatic plant. And it will become a troublesome weed in India. What is the name of that plant? Petunia, Pistia, Eichhornia, or Aegilops? We have discussed so many times about it in different chapters. An aquatic plant introduced from the foreign country, mainly as it is mentioned over here from America, and it will become troublesome weed in India. Yes, so right answer would be the Eichhornia, popularly known as Bengal terror of Bengal, and it is a very fast growing weed and utilized almost all oxygen of the present in the water soluble dissolved oxygen present in that pond. Okay, and very fastly it grow and cover all lake area, and so no oxygen is left for other creatures which are present in that pond. Okay, so right answer would be the choice number 3, Eichhornia. Next, question number 4, according to CPCB, means Central Pollution Control Board, particles that are responsible for causing great harm to human health are diameter 2.50 micron, 5 micron, 10 micrometer, or 7.5 micrometer, 2.5 micrometer, 5 micrometer, 10 or 7.5 micrometer. According to CPCB, what is that particle size which are responsible for causing harm to our lungs and respiratory system, or in a broad term, human health? Just very quickly give me the answer. Just take 5-second time. Yes. So what is the correct answer? It is 2.50 micron. Okay, 2.50 micrometer or less than this. Particulate size 2.5 or less than this are actually responsible for causing great harm to human health. So choice number 1 would be the correct answer. Now next question, that is question number 5. Which of the following are major natural mechanisms for the breakdown of chemicals in the environment? Breakdown of chemicals in the environment. Major natural mechanism. Okay. Degradation by sunlight, autohalogenation, microbial degradation, autophosphorylation, autooxidation. We have to choose more than 2 options, right? So as in these, 3 options are given. Okay. So out of these 5, 3 is correct, 2 is wrong. Okay. So tell me the answer. Which of the following are major natural mechanisms for the breakdown of chemicals in the environment? Natural process, natural mechanism, breakdown of chemicals. So first of all, let's discuss the answer. Degradation by sunlight. Okay. Yes, it is true. Degradation by sunlight. Autohalogenation? No, this is not a natural process. Okay. But yes, microbial degradation is another method. Okay. Microbial degradation. Autophosphorylation means ATP generation. That is not a breakdown related to breakdown of chemicals. Okay. Yes, but autooxidation is related to breakdown of some kind of chemicals, right? So according to me, A, C and E would be the correct answer. So it is given in choice number 3. So choice number 3 would be the correct answer. Clear? Now let's move to the next question. That is question number 6. Given below are 2 statements. Okay. Statement number 1. Sewage discharge in a flowing river cause an increase in biochemical oxygen demand, BOD. Okay, due to biodegradation of organic matter by microbes, right? This lead to the mortality of fish and other aquatic creatures. Okay. Second statement, what they have mentioned? They have mentioned that sewage discharge in the flowing river cause a sharp decline in dissolved oxygen. Yes, sharp decline in dissolved oxygen downstream from the point of discharge due to increased consumption of dissolved oxygen by the microbes. Yes, this one is again true statement. This lead to mortality of fish and other aquatic creature. Yes. So, okay. So in the life, so they have mentioned over here in the light of above 2 statement, means this is statement number 1 and 2. Choose the appropriate answer from the option given below, in which they have mentioned 1 is correct, 2 is correct, both is correct, 1 is wrong, another is correct. So first analyze both the statement right or not. Okay. So as at the point of sewage discharge, okay, at the point of, this is the flow of river and this is sewage discharge. Okay, yahan sewage discharge. Okay, and this is the amount of oxygen. So this type of graph, okay, initially what will happen? this is the point of sewage discharge, right? And another graph is like this. This is for BOD, and this is the point of sewage discharge, right? So initially dissolved oxygen is present at a high level, but as sewage discharge from this point, it very quickly decline from this end to this area, very quickly decline. Why? Because as organic component are more at this particular place, right? So more microbes are there. They have to utilize the organic component, and for that they need oxygen. So most of the oxygen is utilized by the microbes. That's why it is written over here. Sewage discharge in the flowing river cause a sharp decline. This is the sharp decline of dissolved oxygen, right? Downstream from the point of discharge due to increased consumption of dissolved oxygen by the microbe. True. And this lead to mortality of fish and other aquatic creature at this particular area, because at that particular time and in that particular area, no dissolved oxygen is left for other creatures. Okay, so this statement is correct. Similarly, sewage discharge in flowing river cause increased biological oxygen demand. Yes, it increased biological oxygen demand due to biodegradation of organic matter by microbes. This is again true, because they need more and more oxygen. Why? Because they utilize the oxygen for the degradation of organic matter, and this lead to mortality of fish and other aquatic creatures. So according to me, both the statement is correct, right? Both the statements are correct. Statement 1 and statement 2. Clear? So both statements are correct. Yes, choice number 1 would be the correct answer. Clear? Okay. Now next question number 7. Which one of the following is wrong statement? Particulate matter of size 2.5 micron or less can cause inflammation and damage to the lungs. Is this right or wrong? This is a correct statement, right statement. Just now we have solved similar kind of questions. So particulate matter of size 2.5 or less are cause health hazards or health related problems to the human, including inflammation and damage of the lungs or respiratory system. Second, a lake which is rich in organic waste may result in mortality of fish due to lack of oxygen. Yes, just now we have solved a question related to this sentence, because most of the oxygen is already utilized by the microbes. Okay, for why? Because microbe very quickly utilize that organic matter for their decomposition purpose. So mostly oxygen is utilized by the microbes. So no oxygen is left for other creatures which are present in a water body. So this statement is again true, right? Third, DDT residue are rapidly passed through food chain because it is water soluble. Oh. This is not water soluble. It is not utilized by the any type of organism, nor catabolize. Okay, that's why it passed from one trophic level to next trophic level and so on. Okay, so DDT residue are rapidly passed through food chain because it is water soluble. No, this is not true. Okay, so this one is the wrong statement. Photochemical smoke pollution contain ozone. Yes, photochemical smoke pollution contain ozone. This one is correct statement. So according to me, choice number 3 would be the wrong statement. Okay, so answer would be choice number 3. Next question number 8. A sewage treatment process in which a portion of decomposers bacteria present in the waste is called. Decomposer bacteria present in the waste is called What is the right term? Is this primary treatment, cyclic treatment, activated sludge treatment, tertiary treatment? In a sewage treatment plant, there are three different steps: primary treatment, secondary treatment, and tertiary treatment. That decompose bacteria present in secondary treatment as a activated sludge. Okay, so activated sludge treatment would be the right answer. And this activated sludge act as an inoculum also, that contain fungus and bacterial strain, which are mainly responsible for the decomposition of the organic matter present in the sewage. Okay. Next question, question number 9. Which of the following is not an advantage of biodiesel? Biodiesel. It can run any conventional unmodified diesel engine. Yes, this is one of the very good advantage of biodiesel. That's why all the buses present in the Delhi, they have converted into the CNG also, and also they can utilize for diesel engine or petrol engine for biodiesel. They can use biodiesel as a what is the right term for the same, as a fuel, right? So it can run any conventional or unmodified diesel engine. This is the correct statement. It can be used alone or mixed with fuel, means petroleum diesel. Yes, this one is again correct. Biodiesel is non-biodegradable. Is this correct or wrong? Biodiesel is non-biodegradable or biodegradable? Biodiesel is biodegradable. These are not non-biodegradable. So this one is the correct answer. Just a second, just read it out, the fourth choice also. It has a high flush point compared to the petroleum diesel fuel. This is again a correct statement. So wrong statement is this. Biodiesel is non-biodegradable. Right? Okay. Question number 10. A lake near a village suffered heavy mortality of fish within a few days. Consider the following reason for this. Heavy mortality of fishes means this question is related to dissolved oxygen and BOD. Okay. So lots of urea and phosphate fertilizer were used in the crop in the vicinity. The area was spread with DDT by an aircraft. The lake water turned green and stinky. Phytoplankton population in the lake declined initially, thereby greatly reducing photosynthesis. Okay. Right, two of the above were the main cause of fish mortality in the lake. So, tell me the answer. Take 5 to 10 second time. This question is related to dissolved oxygen and BOD. Mortality of fish occur means slowly what will happen? The concentration of organic component will get increase in the water. Okay, so slowly that type of bacteria utilize the oxygen present in the water, and dissolved oxygen is not available for the fishes. That's why mortality of fishes happened in that particular area, right? So how, if all the villagers use lots of urea and phosphate fertilizer in the crop, used in the crop near the vicinity, then this phosphate fertilizer, urea fertilizer, slowly with the help of water and other things, they can accumulate themselves in the pond or lake region in which fishes are also there. So slowly concentration of or number of bacteria will get increased, right? So this one is the first reason. Second, the area was spreaded with DDT by aircraft. This is not the reason, because this one is not dissolved. Okay, and it will not reduce the amount of dissolved oxygen. So this choice would not be the reason. Third, the lake water turned green and stinky means foul smell. Okay, yes, it may possible if the um, green algae or algal blooms uh, increase in that particular area, then most of the dissolved oxygen is utilized by that algal blooms. So no oxygen is left for the fishes and other creatures. So that's why mortality of fish can increase in that particular area. Why the number of green algae or algal bloom develop in that particular area? Because of the high organic component, because of the high organic waste. Okay, so first and C choice would be the correct answer. Although just I'll read out the fourth choice also. Phytoplankton population in the lake decline. Phytoplankton population lake decline initially, thereby greatly reduce photosynthesis. Okay, but this is not the reason for the mortality of fish. Okay, this is not the reason of mortality of fish because this one is related to the dissolved oxygen. Okay, so according to me, choice number 4 would be the correct answer. Clear? Now let's move to the next question, that is question number 11. Regarding climatic factor that influence decomposition, select the correct statement. That influence decomposition. Cool and moist environmental factor favors the decomposition. Warm and moist environment inhibit decomposition. Low temperature and anaerobiosis inhibit decomposition. High temperature and anaerobiosis inhibit decomposition. So what condition actually favors the decomposition? Favorable conditions for decomposition is moist and humid environment. Moist and high temperature, we can say high temperature. This is the preferred environment for fungus, and fungus mainly involved in decomposition. So now we can solve the question. Cool and moist environment favor decomposition. No, not cool, but warm. Okay, so this one is the wrong statement. Warm and moist environment inhibit decomposition. No, warm and moist environment promote decomposition. Though this one is again a wrong statement. Low temperature and anaerobic biosis inhibit decomposition. Yes, we can say if temperature is low and anaerobiosis is present, then it both the factor inhibit decomposition. Yes. High temperature and anaerobiosis inhibit temperature. No, it will promote the decomposition, right? So this one is again wrong, but choice number 3 would be the correct statement because moist and warm, high temp, not the high temperature. I must written over here warm temperature or warm environment. Okay, so choice number 3 would be the correct answer. Now, correct answer. Now, question number 12. What will happen if a fresh water lake get contaminated by addition of polluted water with high BOD? High BOD means high biological oxygen demand. Amount of dissolved oxygen in the lake will decrease. The lake will remains unaffected. Number of submerged aquatic plant in the lake will increase. Number of aquatic animal in the lake will increase. If a polluted water, if a lake water contaminated with the polluted water, then obviously the amount of dissolved oxygen in the lake will decrease very soon because all the microbes present over at the entry side, they grow very fast because they want to utilize all the organic component present in the polluted water. So they utilize most of the oxygen, dissolved oxygen. Okay, so obviously the amount of dissolved oxygen in the lake will decrease. And what is my what is written over here in choice number 2? Lake will remain unaffected? No, the lake will definitely affected. All the creature will get affected because oxygen level or amount of oxygen concentration is not then further available for other creatures like fishes and zooplankton and or phytoplankton. Okay, so if it is mentioned over here, lake will remain unaffected is wrong. Number of submerged aquatic plant in the lake will increase. How they will increase if dissolved oxygen is not available for them? Number of aquatic animal in the lake will increase. How? Same question for the choice number 4 also. So choice number 1 would be the correct answer of this question. Now let's move to the next question, that is question number 13. The thickness of ozone in a column of air in the atmosphere is measured in terms of decibel, decameter, kilobase, or Debson's unit. It's a very important question. Thickness of ozone is measured in Debson's unit. Choice number 4. Okay, choice number 4 would be the correct answer. Now, next question, question number 14. Which of the following statement is correct? We have to choose the correct statement out of these 4. Biomagnification refer to increase in concentration of toxicant at successive trophic level. Yes, biomagnification refer to increase in concentration of toxicant at successive trophic level. This statement is 100% true. Now, I must read out other options also. Presence of large amount of nutrients in water restrict algal blooms? No, not restrict. They in fact increase the algal bloom in that particular area if amount of nutrient increase in particular lake type. Okay, so this one is wrong statement. Algal bloom decrease fish mortality? No, algal bloom increase fish mortality. Why? Because most of the oxygen is utilized by them, by algal bloom. So no oxygen, dissolved oxygen is left for the fishes. So this one is again wrong statement. Eutrophication refer to increase in domestic sewage and wastewater in D lakes. Eutrophication means aging of a lake. Okay, aging of a lake. This is not related to increase in domestic waste or wastewater in the lake. Okay, so this one again a wrong statement. Choice number 1 would be the correct answer according to me. Okay, clear? Now let's move to the next question, that is question number 15. Given below are two statements, statement number 1 and 2. In the light of the above statement, choose the most appropriate answer. Okay. Electrostatic precipitator is most widely used in thermal power plant. Is this correct or not? Tell me. Electrostatic precipitator is widely used in thermal power plant. Second statement, they have given us some information about electrostatic precipitator. They have mentioned over here, electrostatic precipitator in thermal power plant remove ionizing radiations. So just think about this particular device and then we will discuss the answer. Statement 1 is true or second true or both are wrong or any one of them are true. Okay. So electrostatic precipitator is most widely used in thermal power plant. This one is a correct statement. But this precipitator which is used in thermal power plant remove particulate matter. Particulate matter means dust particles. First, they give just particular kind of charge and then pass those polluted air from an electrostatic plate so that dust particle gets settled down. Okay, they are not, this particular type of precipitator is not involved for the removal of ionizing radiation. They are mainly involved in the removal of dust particle from the polluted air. Okay, which is generated in thermal power plant. So statement 1 is true, second is wrong. So choice number 2 would be the correct answer. Clear? Okay. Now let's move to the next question, that is question number 16. The device which can remove particulate matter present in the exhaust from the thermal power plant, same question just now we have solved, is known as STP, incinerator, electrostatic precipitator, or catalytic converter. So choice number 3 would be the correct answer. Electrostatic precipitator are the main type of device which can remove particulate matter, okay, present in the exhaust from a thermal power plant. Next question, that is question number 17. The entire fleet of buses in Delhi were converted to CNG from diesel. In reference to this, which one of the following statement is false? CNG buses more efficiently burn CNG burn more efficiently than diesel. Yes, it's a correct statement. The same diesel engine is used in CNG bus, making the cost of conversion low. It is cheaper than diesel. It can't be altered like diesel. So choice number 1, correct. This CNG burn more efficiently. What is the second advantage of CNG? It is cheaper than diesel. What is the third advantage? It cannot be altered just like petrol or diesel. But the same diesel engine is used in CNG bus, making the cost of conversion low. This one is wrong. Okay, this one is a wrong statement. So choice number 2 would be the correct answer. Now, question number 18. Again, they have given us 2 different statements and we have to choose the right statement, whether one is correct or both the correct. Okay. So in a scrubber, the exhaust from thermal plant is passed through an electric wire to charge the dust particle in the scrubber. Second, the particulate matter 2.5 can't be removed by scrubber but can be removed by electrostatic precipitator. So in the light of the above statement, we have to choose the most appropriate answer from the option given below. So to solve this type of question, we must understand the electrostatic precipitator device and its principle, and scrubber and its principle. So you know this very well. Already we have solved 2 questions related to this electrostatic precipitator. This particular device is mainly responsible to remove particulate matter of this size 2.5. Okay, from the thermal power plant. Okay, so this statement to true. Now, statement number 1. This scrubber, the exhaust from thermal power plant, is passed through electric wire to charge the dust particle. Is it true? No. This is the definition or principle for electrostatic precipitator. Scrubber to just remove small particle by the when it comes to the scrubber, just they give a shower of water or lime on it and settle down the particles. Okay, this principle, the passing of exhaust through a electric wire to a charged dust particle, is the main principle of electrostatic precipitator. So statement 1 is wrong, but second one is true. So statement 1 is wrong means incorrect, and second one is correct. Choice number 4 would be the correct answer. Clear? Okay. Now, question number 19. Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act was amended in 1987 to include among pollution vehicular exhaust, allergy causing pollen, noise, particulate of size 2.5 micron or below. Actually, at this particular time, Air Prevention and Control Board, and according to this act, the instruction is given to the government to include noise pollution with air pollution. So noise pollution is a type of air pollution, and in this particular year, this particular act was, implemented or amended. Clear? So choice number 3 would be the correct answer. Next, which of the following is put into anaerobic sludge digester for further sewage treatment? Floating debris, effluent of primary treatment, activated sludge, or primary sludge. As a inoculum, that a kind of that inoculum contains bacterial and fungal strains. Okay. In a wastewater treatment or sewage treatment, 3 type of treatment: primary, secondary, and tertiary. Right? In secondary treatment, some kind of activated sludge act as an inoculum and put into the anaerobic sludge digester, and it utilized to digest the organic component present in the sewage treatment. So choice number 3 would be the answer. This is floating debris is initially separated out in the primary treatment, right? Effluent of primary treatment then just pass to the secondary treatment. Okay, so this one is not the correct answer. And primary sludge, this is present in the primary treatment. So activated sludge is that part which actually put into the anaerobic sludge digester for further sewage treatment. Clear? Okay. Now the last question. Which of the following is an innovative remedy for plastic waste? Burning in the absence of oxygen, burrowing 500 meter deep below soil surface, polyband, electrostatic precipitator. It's a very good question and very easy question as well. Innovative remedy for plastic waste. Boring 500 meter deep below soil surface, this is for radioactive waste. Electrostatic precipitator is used for reducing particulate 2.5 micron from the exhaust of thermal power plant. Burning in the absence of oxygen, this is not the correct answer. Polyband, which is utilized by an individual in Bangalore and lay down so many kilometers of a road when he mixed plastic waste with the mitugan, right? So polyband is the innovative remedy for plastic waste. Choice number 3 would be the correct answer of this question. Okay. So now we have solved so many questions related to environmental issue. You continue solve some more questions related to this topic. And if you will find any difficulty, any problem, please let me know. We will discuss it later on. Till then, take care. Bye-bye and keep learning. Namaskar.